Hello! Hello! STRAHD lovers. It is me. I am back. What? It is me. I am back, this time in a full 16:9 ratio. Isn't it nice when my face takes up the entire screen? Today I'm doing the FAQ video as promised. You know those friends who you text them and then they respond in like 7 business days, or they leave you on read because they see the message and then forget to respond and then never think about it again? I am that person, and now karma at its finest has me getting 5 to 10 DMs a day and like a bajillion comments on everything that I don't know how to respond to. So for those that didn't see the short that I released last week, this is my way of responding to everything at once. But yes, I'll be sitting here with my tea and my jazz music, and Ismark will be off camera. Hello. Reading your comments for me to respond to.
I am getting paid for this one, yes?
No, you're not. And there will be chapters in place. I'll figure out how to do that so that you guys can skip ahead if you only care about answers to certain questions. You get the gist of it. I don't need to explain. Let's get straight into it.
Tuck1 says, I don't know what this is, but I love it.
Okay, I guess I should probably give you guys some context. But most, if not all of you, have found me through this song, Welcome to Barovia. It's the first in a much larger fan passion project called STRAHD the Musical. It's a collection of songs that will eventually make up a concept musical based on the STRAHD module from the tabletop role-playing game Dungeons & Dragons. For those unfamiliar with D&D, a module is like a pre-written setting where the player's adventure takes place. It's filled with potential places to visit, monsters to fight, characters to interact with, and narrative threads which the Dungeon Master can use to guide his players through the story as it unfolds. So the module STRAHD is set in the world of Barovia. It's this dreary kingdom trapped in its own demi-plane, surrounded by this mist that once you enter it, you can never leave, and it's ruled over by the vampire lord Strahd von Zarovich. If you watch this video, you'll know that I ran STRAHD for my friends back when I was living in Australia, but I moved to the US before we finished it, which is one of the things that led me here. Now the story of STRAHD. Now the story of STRAHD the musical does differ slightly from the traditional D&D adventure in that there is no adventuring party in this story. The cast of the musical consists solely of the NPCs. Now these NPCs have taken on the role of the adventuring heroes because in this iteration of the story, no one else has come to save them. It's my own take on the story and the world. We get to flesh these characters out, put them in the spotlight, see them face situations and interact with people that they normally wouldn't. For instance, the blonde fellow you saw in the first song, Welcome to Barovia, Ismark. He is one of 2 leads in the musical. He and his sister Irina are NPCs or characters that the players, the adventuring party, would typically aid on their journey. In STRAHD the musical, they go out on their own adventure together. So, what is the plan with the musical? I talked a bit about it in this short, but I'll go over it again just in case anyone hasn't seen it. So long term, the plan for CoStM is to tell its full story over the course of 3 acts. Now these acts will be divided in half, calling them chapters. 2 chapters per act, so 6 chapters total, and each chapter will contain approximately 8 songs. So a total of 45 to 50 songs, and for a musical that runs for about 3 hours. Welcome to Barovia is of course the opening number of Act 1. Now, due to the scope of this project and certain financial limitations, I've decided to release the first several songs as demos, works in progress, if you will. So rough orchestration, temporary voices, and they're not guaranteed to stay the way they are now. I'll most likely change some of them as I develop the story more, like nothing's set in stone. Honestly, I didn't plan on receiving as big of a reception that I did. The support has been overwhelming, in a good way, but I definitely don't want to keep you waiting. Right now the demo of Song 2 is in the works, and I'll continue to release snippets as I go, explaining my thoughts and giving you a glimpse into the process as I try to write this monster. Over the next few weeks, expect to see videos explaining my writing process for Songs 1 and 2, and also videos that dive deeper into the overall plan for Act 1, what the songs look like, and what the story might entail.
When will it drop onto Spotify? Because I want to add it to my playlist.
September 4th. Next question. Do it again. Alright, I'll go into a little more detail, but it's true. On September 4th, Welcome to Barovia is coming to Spotify. Why the 4th? It was the soonest day I could get it out. but for that one guy in my comments who likes Silksong, worked out pretty well, huh? Now, I know that Spotify wasn't the only request. From memory, there was iTunes and Apple Music, YouTube Music. One of you said Tidal, I think. While I would like to have uploaded this song to all of the major streaming platforms, I'm refraining from doing so until I get a better grasp on the legal side of things. For those of you that don't know, WOTC has a fan content policy. Now, this policy allows the use of Wizard's IPs in, fan content with certain restrictions. I'll put a link to the policy in the description for anyone curious, but the main restriction that applies to uploading the song to streaming platforms is that the fan content in question has to be free. Oh, and I have to label it as, unofficial fan content, obviously. In short, I can't require payments, surveys, subscriptions, downloads, or email registration to access my fan content. Bye bye iTunes. Now, it's not a legal document, and it is very vague, and I know that there are plenty of other creators who have uploaded D&D music to places like iTunes, including another Welcome to Barovia that has been quite popular, and also a third Welcome to Barovia that I've never heard of before. I'm still figuring it out, and I don't want to get into it further than that. Just know that I do want to get it out there, and I do want to do it right. See, releasing this song outside of YouTube is not something that I was planning on doing anytime soon. But after hearing all the enthusiasm behind its release and having people ask me about it, I figured, why not? Let me just try it and see what happens. And it has been a bit of a process, mainly figuring out which distributor to use. They're all kind of not great, but I've settled on one, and it's now in the process of being distributed as we speak. Also, real quick, I have gotten comments asking me to release the instrumental tracks of my songs, maybe even a karaoke version for all the bards out there. And I'm so glad there's an interest for that, because I spent an inordinate amount of time composing that piece. So that is coming. I'm just waiting on one thing first.
Skylax said, I never knew Ismark to be so eloquent. I beg your pardon. Of all the things to say to somebody, people forget that I'm nobility. Okay, they also said, great work, and are you outsourcing for more roles in the future? Curious how this is going to evolve.
This is another subject that I got a lot of comments on, and I mean a lot. And I have a lot to say on this one too, so buckle up. Buckle up. Buckle up. So I've had lots of people reach out offering to lend their voices and talents to this project. It has been so gratifying and uplifting to see how passionate you all are about it. So, how can you get involved? I will preface by saying this. I will absolutely need more vocalists, actors, artists, even audio engineers. I am by no means a pro when it comes to mixing and mastering, but it might be a while before I'm actively looking. Let's start with the vocalists, specifically casting for the featured roles. Irina, Van Richten, Vargas, Arago, the Martikovs, the Abbot, STRAHD, all these NPCs that you know and love. As of right now, none of them have been officially cast, not even Ismark. And I don't plan to cast many of them until further down the line. I want to have a good chunk of the songs fully written and finalized, so that when it comes time to audition, there's enough material to provide a clear idea of how these characters need to present. Roles like Irina and STRAHD in particular, some of the stuff I've written for them gets pretty heavy, and I want to be sure that they can be done justice. So official auditions and casting for the main characters will take place after many of the demos have already been released. And expect to see the smaller supporting roles cast first. For example, in Act 1, Chapter 1, there are 10 named singing roles. Out of these 10 roles, 6 of them are only really featured in the first 8 songs. And if they do appear later on in the musical, their character is more or less consistent with how they were first introduced, as opposed to characters like Irina and Ismark, who have a much more complicated narrative arc and will be put in more strenuous circumstances and will consequently change as the story progresses. What that basically means is expect to see auditions for Stanimir before Irina. As for what the auditions will look like, I honestly don't know, but rest assured I will make plenty of announcements when I start the casting process, as well as how exactly to go about auditioning. Alright, still with me? Good, because now we're going to talk about demos. I mentioned in a previous video that although I'm not casting anyone at the moment, I will likely have to get stand-ins for certain characters in the demos. Would you believe it, I cannot sing soprano. Now this is a very common practice and a viable option. It not only helps differentiate characters, but having distinct and unique voices, it allows you to better immerse yourself in the story and connect with these characters on a deeper level. However, Since I do want to share these demos with you as I work through the process, that does introduce the likelihood that people will inevitably get attached to the voices that they hear. If I have someone singing for Irina in all the demos, and then I swap her out for a different actress for the official release, that could understandably rub some people the wrong way. There are ways around this, one of which might be using a different actress for each demo, like having someone new sing for Irina each time. And I do like this in theory too. I mean, it gives me a chance to get a bunch of you involved, but at the same time, you know, it might get confusing. All this to say, I haven't made a concrete decision yet, but I'll let you know when I do. But for now, please know that anyone who takes part in this project is not guaranteed to be permanent, unless I tell you otherwise. All right, so official casting isn't happening anytime soon. Casting for demos is a possibility, but still not guaranteed. So what then? Well, there is one thing I'll need help with a lot sooner into the process, and that's background vocals. Take song 3, for example. Not to spoil too much, but that's when the Vistani are going to be introduced. Hypothetically, I would love getting you guys involved in bringing them to life. And that doesn't have to be just ensemble singing. That can look like background chatter, cheering, toasting, laughing, whooping, hollering, even a few lines of dialogue for you voice actors out there. It's not too difficult to pull off, and the best part is you don't have to be a trained singer to get involved. I would also like to be able to commission people to lend their various talents to the project as well. For instance, recording musicians live instead of using VSTs and MIDI sounds. Commissioning artists to make these gorgeous full-colored thumbnails like the ones you saw in Welcome to Barovia. And eventually, animatics or even full-blown animations to accompany the songs. Unfortunately, for the time being, I am a bit broke. That does lead me into my next question. But keep an eye out in the future because I would love nothing more than to be able to collaborate with as many of you as I'm able to.
I would absolutely pay some money, like maybe a Patreon subscription, to see a COS musical. Especially if it ends up with the same production standard as Welcome to Barovia. Oh, would you look at that? That is very nice.
Alright, lucky last, donating. Quite a few of you are quick to tell me to give people the option to donate to CoStM to push the project forward. So I took your advice and I created a KOFI account. I honestly did not know what it was until it was suggested to me. I had to look it up. But from what I've gathered, don't hate me KOFI, but it's essentially Patreon Lite. Primarily, it kind of acts like an online tip jar. You know, allows you to offer these one-time donations just to show your appreciation or support. You can also leave messages with your donations, so you can tell me what you want me to spend it on. But all donations you make will go into helping this project progress. KOFI does offer a membership program like Patreon too, for those of you that do want to contribute monthly. It does say $5 on the platform, but it's pay what you want. You can pick the amount. But please note, as of right now, there are currently no exclusive benefits for signing up for the membership. Don't worry, that is coming. And I do also want to start a Patreon account with set tiers and corresponding rewards. I want to offer you guys something for your support. But before I do that, I do want to make sure I have, you know, a good grasp on this whole content creation thing. So it probably won't happen for another month or two. I'm still very new to this. So for now, this Ko-fi account is simply a way for you guys to be able to support this project should you feel so inclined. Obviously, it goes without saying, like, it's completely your choice to donate, right? I mean, it means the world to me that so many people are already so invested in this passion project of mine. So whether you are donating or leaving a comment or just giving a thumbs up, I mean, all this stuff is encouraging me to push this project to heights that I never could have imagined. All right, so that wraps up this little FAQ session video thing. I know there were a lot more questions that I didn't answer, and I promise I will do my best to get to all of them down the line. Now, this will probably be the last long-form 16:9 video that I make for a while, just because I want to get back into, you know, writing the musical, right? As much as I'd love to be able to do this full-time, I still work, and I have life problems that come up. In between all of that, writing this project and now the content creation side, there's a lot of stuff that I'm having to kind of manage all at once. But these were the kind of the four main ones that I wanted to put into writing so that people could use this as a reference to answer in the future. But I will still do my best to upload 2 or 3 short form videos a week just to kind of keep you guys updated with the process. So if you haven't already, shameless plug, go and check out the Dungeon Ditties TikTok and Instagram. Both the links are somewhere in the YouTube bio. But for now, thank you all so much for watching and for all the support, and have a wonderful day. I can also do this. And like the pop-up little donate. There might be something on the screen and you can click it and it's like, I don't know, it's kind of cool.